Alright, as promised, today we will continue with the assembly, and this time I have my industrial stencil printer up and running. So there is a little compressor running here for air, and then there is also power for some other parts of the machine. Electric power coming inside, and the machine is pretty much ready. I have stencil aligned, so I'm going to show you if I pressed these two buttons at the same time, which will be difficult holding the phone, but let's improvise. Yeah, stencil will go down. Sorry for the noise, that's a compressor running. And you'll see, let me see if I can zoom in. You'll see it's very well aligned. iPhone doesn't do the justice, the image is not the best, but all the pads, even the smaller pads, are quite well aligned, so I'm quite pleased with that. You'll have a little bit of space for making a mistake because that adhesive force will bring everything, but you should try the best to make sure that everything's aligned the best as you can. And also here, if you look at the stencil, it needs to be aligned perfectly. This shouldn't be too bended, so make sure you don't have too much pressure here and here, otherwise your stencil can even break or just be damaged. If you start seeing this, it means that sometimes you kind of exaggerate it with the pressure, but I mean that will happen one way or another, but you should try to avoid it, try to make it perfectly leveled. Aside from that, what else I can say? This is the solder paste. I'm using this, I guess, Kelly Shan paste from China. Needs to be refrigerated, so before you use it, make sure that it's on the room temperature at least. This is mesh 25 to 45 micrometers, I think, looking at it. I think this is in line with the T4, if I'm not mistaken, but it's more than adequate for what I'm doing here. And it's SNBI, so it's not lead, doesn't contain lead. That's important, because this thing, if you're working in a house or a garage, make sure you're not dealing with lead, because lead is cancerogenic and toxic, and this new tech is pretty good. I mean, works phenomenally. So that's the paste that we're going to put shortly after. And as this stencil printer is not fully automatic, it's semi-automatic, meaning every time you need to put the board manually inside, but then you press these two buttons here, this one and this one, and the machine will automatically print and move the solder up once it's done. So you can take your board and place it into a pick and place machine. Now, Kayo, again, A8L 8-head machine. What I can show you this time is that I finally using this big 24mm feeder. I have now latches, because I removed D-flipflops. I put the latches here for 1.2 version, and works phenomenally. One thing that I kind of was struggling with is this little thing here. There is a little valve, and this valve is important for amount of pressure that or amount of force that feeder will use, opening and closing the shutter and that sort of thing, advancing the component. So that actually gave me a lot of headache. Aside from normal things like pitch, you can adjust pitch here. Hold on, let me just see if I can film this thing here. That's pitch adjustment. Basically, different parts have different spacing between each part, so you can adjust that too. So that's that. Again, on the other side, this machine is cool because it has two screens, one on each side. So once you're in the factory in line, you don't need to go on the other side to set up stuff. So that's pretty cool. And these are D-flipflops that I was using initially, but then I realized that these will require some protection diodes in place before we can use these as well. So only 1.3 will support D-flipflops as well. But I got a lot, 500. of these. I wasted some of these during the setup of the feeder as it happens, and I mean I didn't waste them, I just have them loose on the side, so I'll reuse them, but some of these I'll place manually, of course, before the reflow. But that's enough, I think, information for us to start the whole thing. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply the paste, then I'm going to record the whole thing, pressing these two buttons and you know, looking at the results, and then putting everything into pick and place machine here in this area here. So but before we do that, I want to say I'm doing also visual inspection of all the pads, making sure that the solder is applied evenly and in a good manner. Usually the factories will have another machine that will kind of like, I don't want to say AI, that's maybe a loaded term, but it's just a machine with lots of algorithms determining, inspecting the images and determining the if everything's done right or there's some defects on the board and so forth before going to pick and place machine. So maybe, just maybe one day I'll have that as well. But for now, I just take a look quickly, go over every pad. If needed, sometimes for BGAs I use microscope as well and inspect all the pads, all the balls, locations for the balls for the BGA. But for this it's fairly easy. I mean, this is pretty, although it seems small, it's in electronics, this is huge pitch and it's not difficult to determine. So next step is to put some solder paste, and yeah, we're on our way to move forward with everything. We'll be with you in a second. Okay, now paste is here, but because I will need two hands to adjust this, I'm just going to explain to you what I'm going to do. So usually I push this head a little bit, and then I use this, I guess, lever here to while it's pressed, to kind of tighten this up. So the knives are pressing the stencil. Of course, not too much, not too little, just about enough to kind of be tightly connected with the stencil. And then I will bring the knives up and move the head manually into this position. And at this time, machine is ready for a semi-automatic mode, which will be pressing these two buttons, and you'll see what happens. The head will apply the solder paste and then move everything up. How much solder paste is needed? This is, you can go with less than this. I like putting a little bit extra, because once this is done, you just put the rest that you didn't use back into this little box, or how I say, little plastic jar, and put it back to the fridge, and that's it. As long as you refrigerate your solder paste, you still have a good number of days to reuse it. So again, I'll be with you in a second once I put the head in the proper position. Okay, I think we have machine in the right position. Now I'm going to move my iPhone here so I can press these two buttons at the same time, and machine will drop the stencil and do the printing. Let's do that. Okay, let's see what happens. There we go. It's doing the print. You can see it's removing everything. This means that this part is slightly lower than a PCB. You can adjust that by bringing this thing a little bit up, but I don't care that much. For me it's fine. I just do it this way. I do scratch a little bit the edges of the stencil, but you know, I don't really care that much. But that's done. And then what you do, you take the board manually, you inspect it. I usually come here where there's a lot of light. I inspect every single pad, which I'm going to do after finish filming. But you can see it's just beautiful. There you go. There's a little bit of dust, but that doesn't bother that much here and there, because I was cleaning the stencil while this was still on the machine, but that's fine. That's all right. You can see here, Fantastic. Okay, so this will go to pick and place machine, and then we can continue from there. All right, so I manually placed the board from this way, and now I'm going to just clip the board also manually because of the mistake I made regarding the position of the some components. And when I click this, now the board is firmly secured. This won't be necessary on 1.3 because I'm going to add a little bit more of extra space here for the clips. So that's that, and now let's start. Basically, we go with the produce, it's manual, start, it will do fiducial marks, and it will start doing its own thing. Right now, machine is doing it pretty slowly, I think maybe at 50% of the speed or 30% of the speed. I'm not sure, I need to check that, but one way or another, it's these first few boards I usually run pretty slow just to make sure there's no mistakes and there's no errors. And then later, once and if I'm satisfied, you can see the latch parts now. This is the latch. If I'm satisfied, then I will just go 80%, 90%, and then it's quite fast. But one way or another, for these small runs, I know 20 boards doesn't really matter. I can run it to 10% if I like. It's all good. But yeah, seems like it's going well. For this project, if anything, the problem was, hopefully you can hear me with all this noise with the compressor, is that 24mm feeder was really pain in the rear end to set up and make sure it has enough air coming and the pitch is right and this and that. It was a little bit tricky, but once everything was in place, it just works phenomenally. CTLD, okay. Rest of it. Look at the level shifters as well, maybe. There we go. Almost there. Done. All good. Completed. Very good. And then just close the board, and then manually we can remove it from here. Because this thing is not set, I need to check why. I think it's missing C32. I think I'm missing it here maybe. Let's clip the board again. C32, I think that's something I'm missing. Let's try to find it. C32, okay, let's see if it's here. It is, oh, but it's not selected for some reason, I don't know why. Okay, so let's try to place. There we go. Done. Okay, that's it. We are done with the first set. Okay, let's try to do one more round with one hand because holding the iPhone and doing this, it's quite difficult. I'll do my best. So make sure this is securely within these holders. That's fine. Okay, so I'm going to press this button and the other one at the same time, and the machine goes. There we go. Paste is coming. Goes up. Now I just need to make sure I don't touch these pads because they're quite close. So there's no way around it. I just need to be careful. Some quick check. Oh, beautiful. This is fantastic. Okay. These guys are still okay, hopefully. Me holding. It's alright. Okay. Now, usually this is easier, but now because I'm holding the board, and sorry for the compressor, I'm going to do my best here. Okay, I'm just going to drop it here, pull it all the way down. I need to do this manually because of lack of clearance for these pads here on the top. A 1.3 board will have this corrected. So that's that. Now I'm going to do manual clip. It says clip the board. Now board is secured, firmly secured on the rail here, and then we can start. I'm going to use so-called manual mode, where machine will do fiducials, fiducial marks, set up the coordinates, and then start. If I close this, it will run about, I think right now we're at the 50% of the speed, so it will do it. It's kind of slowly, but surely. Usually around 50% of speed at the beginning. We can use this monitor feature and you can see the deltas, the adjustments. Okay, now the larger part. This is a latch. Very good. Mounting well. Cool. Seems like we're done. Complete. There we go. Now we can close the board, take it out manually as well, and then that's it. There we go. Okay, there we go. Slowly but surely. There we go. Perfect. Now for the inspection. Looks pretty good. There we go. So that's that. I think I'm going to place a couple of these latches manually because I have them loose now while I was dealing with setting up the feeder. So I'm going to maybe make 4 or 5 these boards and then place latches manually, just not to waste these loose parts. So obviously now it's all set, it does it very well, but yeah, I'll do that. But other than that, that's it. I mean, we are ready to start spewing out all these boards like crazy. Just need to make sure that I have enough parts for all the boards that I order right now, which I think I'm in good shape because I checked the amount of the amount of parts I have in stock, so should be okay to cover at least this first round. Let's follow up next on the Reflow oven. Alright, and here is the programming part now. The PiStorm68K is all assembled. I have Raspberry Pi running with Raspbian. And don't do it like this. If you must, make sure you have some sort of standoffs. This is not a good way to handle your electronics, just keeping it on the table like this because of all sorts of potential problems with, you know, shorting something and, you know, grounding something. But just for now, quick and dirty, we'll do. I have a ping, and I'm going to try to log in wirelessly to this Raspberry Pi. Okay, like this, and there we go. And then I guess I can do unprog because this is 240. I'll use 240. And oh, there you go. You see there's green lights coming up and shutdown command invoked. That's it. I already programmed 2 of these. This is the 3rd one. And in total, I have 6 assembled. These are the first 6 units that I'm going to put on the website. So far, so good. Every single one works well. I'm going to do after testing with Minimic, but so far, so good. So I think we can wrap it up here. We are pretty close to the point where I can release the Gerber files, the schematics and everything. I think I should wait to 1.3 where the final version is ready. So all the varieties of flip-flops and latches can be used. But other than that, you know, this is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy that I have a pick and place machine ready. I have all the feeders ready. All the files, configuration files are all set. So it's pretty good. Maybe I would say a week or 2 weeks to get new boards. Before test also 1.3 variant to make sure that everything is in place, and then it's going to be a release. I'll start you know, assembling these babies, and we'll go from there. Hopefully people will find this useful. As a side note, just keep in mind, usually once after release I'll make a small quantity for people who are early adopters to kind of test and report if there's any issues, which I don't expect because I've been, you know, using this for months. But if there is, you know, maybe something to consider sooner rather than later. But all in all, seems like we're in a good shape. Thanks for watching, and just so you are in the loop with all these new things coming, including a new AmiCube with AGI chipset, which is in works right now. Subscribe and like and share so other people are also let's create a little bit of buzz so there is an interest going on here, and I'll do my best to release these videos as soon as I can. Again, thanks for watching and talk to you soon. Bye.